The Sutra of Pale Leaves is the next big campaign for Call of Cthulhu, taking us back to 1980s Japan to face mythos madness on the streets of Tokyo at the dawn of the karaoke era. Welcome to Roll for Sanity, where we become mythos investigators in the world of Call of Cthulhu role-playing. And welcome to all the new investigators joining us since the last vid. Today we're creating a campaign character for the Sutra of Pale Leaves campaign, Twin Suns Rising and Carcosa Manifest. No spoilers here on Roll for Sanity, but with the tagline, Encountering the King in Yellow in 1980s Japan, we know this will be a different campaign from the Lovecraft mythos, as the King in Yellow is from the works of Robert W. Chambers. Whilst Lovecraft stories focus on the indifference of cosmic horror, where antagonists are usually unfathomable alien gods, Chambers' works weave eerie, atmospheric tales where the horror is often ambiguous, psychological, and lurking just beyond human understanding in a cursed play or a sinister artist's legacy. To face this campaign, we'll need an occupation that brings together the skills of a private detective and the knowledge of a librarian. The 1980s Japan was an exciting world of opportunity, with the digital age exploding, selling products like digital watches, programmable microwave ovens, and home video cassette recorders, allowing TV shows to be saved for later. Creative careers replaced traditional factory and manufacturing jobs that tradition had often expected people to follow. The educational establishments changed their focus, offering courses to meet the demands of employers who needed a new skilled workforce. And this is where we meet Yumi, our campaign investigator, who has finished her final year of university as a journalism student. Journalists must have the drive to look beyond the normal and ask the questions that no one else will. They will work hard and can put themselves at risk if they think the story will get them a front page. And 1980s Tokyo is not short of stories for all kinds of journalism, from the decade-defining 80s music scene of Western music to the homegrown city pop and Japanese idols, to the exploding video games market. Perhaps Yumi and her brother play a Nintendo Entertainment System, first released in 1985. Journalists were not all reporters sitting in courtrooms, though, scribbling furiously on notepads with pencils. Interviews could be conducted with portable tape recorders, and high-quality photographs could be taken on affordable 35mm film cameras with developing services on the high street. The 80s saw the introduction of portable video cameras that could record footage onto video cassettes to review at home. Think about what your journalist carries to help them with their investigation. What will Yumi, our investigator, be like? Let's feed the dice to Cthulhu and roll for sanity.
Personal attributes.
Strength 10. Constitution 17. Dexterity 13. Size 9. Appearance 15. Intelligence 12. Power 11. Education 14. And luck 13. Remember, to get our attribute scores, we take our dice rolls and multiply them by 5. So that is strength 50. Dexterity 65. Intelligence 60. Constitution 85, very healthy. Appearance 75, Yumi will be noticeable in a crowd. Power 55. Size 45. Education 70. And luck 65. Let's look at the hit points, which is con added to size, and then divide the total by 10 to give us a respectable 13 hit points. Our strength and size are 90, much less than the 125 we need for a damage bonus. Our move rate, though, is 9, as our strength and dexterity are both higher than size. Remember, investigators who are good at running often live to tell the tale. Sanity points are the same as our POW, and a loss of 11 points will be needed to send Yumi into madness.
Occupation skills.
The university education and experience Yumi has had have provided some excellent investigation skills for her career as a journalist, which uses education multiplied by 4 to get the number of occupation skill points we have to spend, so 280 points. First, we need to remember credit rating. Journalists can have up to 30, so we'll put 30 points here so Yumi can have a disposable income. 35 points in the art and craft of not writing, but photography, to take that to 40%. Not Yumi's strongest class, but as this is a campaign, we can afford to put slightly less points into skills as they will develop over the course of a campaign. 45 points into the social skill of charm, taking that to 60%, complementing Yumi's appearance. 40 points in history to take that to 45%, and just 20 points into library use, taking that to 40%. I could be tempted to leave library use at the base of 20% because of the amount of library use skill rolls there will be in the campaign, hoping it will improve. But having played a campaign where I did this with my character's spot hidden skill, even after a year of play I only had around 37 in spot hidden, where others were approaching 90%. Even for campaigns, make sure you give your investigator a good chance of passing a skill test. With a base score of 75, I think we'll save points on own language and put 40 points into psychology, taking it to 50%, so we'll only fumble on a 100 roll. And Yumi will have a good chance to get a sense of what the person is like. The first of our 2 great investigator skills in the journalist occupations is stealth. Being small and nimble, we'll spend 40 points here to take this to 60%, great for when Yumi needs to sneak out of the house. And lastly, we have spot hidden, always welcome as an occupation skill, so our last 30 points go into that, taking it to 55%.
Personal skills.
We can use double our intelligence score of 60 to give us 120 points to spend on personal skills. And with some investigator skills already taken care of by the journalist occupation, we can choose different skills to really shape our journalist investigator. First up, in combat, we need to get out of the way when the king in yellow comes knocking, so 20 points here on Yumi's base dodge of 32%, taking that to 52%. We can actually spend some points on drive auto, so 30 points here to make Yumi a confident driver. We must put 25 points into fighting brawl, as no doubt in a campaign there will be combat, so let's make Yumi confident in martial arts, taking her fighting brawl to 50%. And we'll remember later to give her a Bokuto or Bokken practice sword as a weapon, because carrying a knife or firearms in 1980s Japan was very illegal. We'll choose the modern skill of computer use to give Yumi a chance of actually using one. 1980s machines relied on typing instructions before the days of point and click, so 20 points here to give Yumi 25% in computer use. And lastly, we'll have some points left for occult. 25 points here to take that to 30%, so Yumi will have a basic understanding of some occult practice.
The finishing touches.
Gear and possessions. Yumi's journalist kit includes a camera, a flash and film, as well as a battery-operated tape recorder and a filofax, a leather-bound planner, and a text pager, which she tells her friends is to get a hot tip on a story, but it is actually paid for by her brother, so he can get in touch with her when she is late back from borrowing his car. Her rucksack also has inside a flashlight, spare floppy disks, and her martial arts outfit, so she has an excuse, if stopped by the police, for carrying her Bokuto or Bokken practice sword, as we mentioned earlier. Yumi has a modern credit rating of 30, so has the equivalent of $1,200 in cash available to her, equivalent assets of $30,000, and can spend up to the equivalent of $200 a day. Not bad for a 21-year-old student. Check with your keeper though, as the modern credit rating might be too generous for your game. Yumi's backstory? Well, in a different age, Yumi would have followed her mother into nursing, but the boom of the 1980s allowed this free spirit to enjoy college, then university, choosing to study journalism as she wanted to write about the things she didn't like, Like craftsmen, as her father, were treated as construction drones, whilst people in sharp suits and the ability to say yes, like her brother, worked their way up the corporate ladder to be yuppies. Having finished university, she is currently working as a courier to make ends meet, able to whiz through the city in her brother's white Lamborghini. She is looking for a story to make a name for herself if only she could get a lead. Personal appearance, Yumi is 21, a little shorter than most, but very attractive with long pink hair. When she is out and about, Yumi usually wears a white leather effect jumpsuit to make her look like a race car driver, so people will get out of her way when driving. Traits, a natural truth seeker and always wanting to see the best in people. Ideologies and beliefs, Yumi has been taught the core principles of Buddhism which her parents followed, but she has yet to find any spirituality herself. Injuries and scars, only a small appendix operation scar from her early teens. Significant people, father is Kenji, mother is Yoko, and older brother is Takashi. Phobias, none yet. Meaningful locations, the Shuto Expressway Bay Shore route. It was here Yumi first felt in control of her destiny, when she was alone behind the wheel of a fast sports car with her foot to the floor accelerating. Arcane tomes and spells? None yet, but with a king in yellow in town, you never know. Treasured possession, a carved wooden bird made for her by her father. Encounters with the strange? Of course. Recently, Yumi was out in the city. She was delivering a package. And when she returned to her car, she found people were performing some kind of magic ritual in the alleyway. Yumi thought to stay and fight, but didn't stick around to find out what it was all about. You can find Yumi's character sheet for download, enhanced backstory, as well as Yumi tokens or a VTT over at www.rollforsanity.com. We've got more campaign characters coming up, so I hope you'll subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll roll for sanity again soon.